What if I told you that the town of Cleveland, Tennessee had a mausoleum that was built by a grieving father for his beloved daughter? Then what if I told you that ever since her body was placed there, the mausoleum has been bleeding? Some say the family was cursed. Welcome to the Ghost of Tennessee, and this is the haunted Cragmiles Mausoleum. The Cragmiles family was a very influential family in Cleveland, and in August 1864, John Cragmiles and his wife Adelia would give birth to the couple's first daughter, Nina. And it wasn't long before John and the entire family became absolutely devoted to the little girl. Her grandfather, Dr. Gideon Thompson, who was the town doctor, loved his granddaughter with all his heart, and he would take walks with her in downtown Cleveland, where she was popular with the shopkeepers and often took her on medical calls in his buggy. They would spend entire afternoons just riding around town and enjoying the fresh air. But on August 18, 1871, St. Luke's Day, 7-year-old Nina Cragmiles was killed in a tragic buggy accident. Little Nina had gone on a buggy ride with her grandfather, and some people say Dr. Thompson was driving that day, while others claim Nina was allowed to drive the buggy and was traveling too fast. Regardless, the buggy crossed the railroad tracks at the Inman Street crossing just as the train approached and was struck by the switched engine. Dr. Thompson was thrown clear of the wreck and survived, but unfortunately, little Nina was killed instantly. Nina's tragic death shocked the town, but no one was as crushed as her father. The entire family could barely function during the funeral services, and when it was over, John began making plans to build a church in memory of his daughter. The Episcopal congregation in town had no permanent meeting place, and John felt that a new church in Nina's honor would be fitting. The ground was broken the following August, and St. Luke's was completed on October 18, 1874. It was the third anniversary of little Nina's death. And almost as soon as the brick and stone church was completed, the family began construction on a mausoleum for Nina's body. It was placed at the rear of the church and was built from expensive Italian marble with walls 4 feet thick. A cross tops the marble spire of the tomb and rises more than 37 feet off the ground. Inside the tomb, 6 shelves were built into the walls, and in the center was a marble sarcophagus, into which Nina's body was placed. John's devastation and grief would stay with him the rest of his life, and the first request recorded in his will stated, "I wish to very plainly be buried in the lower hand catacomb in the vault or mausoleum where sleeps the ashes of our darling little Nina." But not long after little Nina's body was placed in the mausoleum, something peculiar began to appear. Something that looked like many people to be bloodstains. Other family members would join little Nina. The first to die was an infant son who was born to John and Adelia, but only lived a few hours. He was never named, but his body was placed next to his sister. And legend has it that more stains appeared on the mausoleum, and they seemed darkening in color. John Cragmiles would die in 1899. He had been walking downtown one day and slipped and fell on the icy street. An infection developed and turned into blood poisoning, and he died a short time later. His body too would be placed in the mausoleum alongside his infant son and his beloved Nina. And once again, more stains would appear, and they would darken still. And tragically, in 1928, while crossing Cleveland Street, Adelia was struck by a car and killed. Locals by now had washed off these stains on the mausoleum wall repeatedly, but they appeared again, even darker. Some locals believe that they appear because Nina is crying tears of blood over the deaths of those she loved. One interesting side note to this story, the Cragmiles family had commissioned a sculpted bust of Nina out of white Italian marble, and they intended to place the bust in an alcove in St. Luke's called Nina's Niche. But the sculptor shipped the bust on the Titanic, so this alcove is traditionally filled with flowers instead. Visitors to the church and mausoleum have reported seeing a little girl who appears to be around Nina's age playing nearby, and have also heard a little girl's laughter when no one is around. So what do you think? Do you think the family was cursed and the stains are the tears of little Nina? Let me know what you think in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Give it to me like